broadcasting again today from Next Edge Performance and Faiferlick Martial Arts. Of course, this is Kelsey here, Kelsey Felch, and she is a third-degree black belt. Is that correct?
Yeah,
in
that's correct.
Taekwondo. We want to talk about women's empowerment, and self-defense has got to be a component of women's empowerment, I'm sure, Kelsey. So maybe you could explain a little bit about self-defense and how it pertains to martial arts and your business particularly.
Women Empowered is a program that focuses on women using their power through leverage and technique rather than strength. So it doesn't matter how big you are, how small you are, but just using that leverage to subdue an attacker. We talk a lot about self-defense. We talk a lot about the 19 most common situations that women find themselves in. We focus a lot on self-defense, a lot on many different techniques. We've got like a hair grab. We've got some interesting ones. We've got a shirt choke that's fun, a super slap. So we have a little bit of fun in the class.
A super slap.
A super
a
slap.
choke.
Yes.
Fun with choking.
Yes. So we have some fun, but we do realize a lot of it is some serious information. But it's a really fun program and a really great way to bond with some other women in the community as well.
You know, you are certainly correct that I don't know. We live in a very weird time. Women just have to learn to defend themselves and be forceful about it. I mean, not be afraid to, well, for lack of a better word, hurt somebody if they have to. I'm not trying to put too fine a point on that, but we do. I'm very glad that Faiferlick Martial Arts and Next Edge Performance out here is doing something like that, because I just, general principles, I got no time for anybody puts their hand, no man puts their hand on a woman in a violent way. I have no problem. I have a real problem with people like that. If you're certainly a woman of any age, I highly recommend you come out to Next Edge and Faiferlick Martial Arts and find out more about their program. You may be surprised. These are veteran trainers here. Justin Faiferlick, Kelsey's dad's been doing this, and your mother have been doing this for many, many years. We're going to talk a little MMA here in a minute, a little jiu-jitsu. We're with Will Whitehead, who was a former wrestler for Iowa Central, and he's now an instructor out here. So, Will, I'm glad you could join us for this segment. Wrestling, of course, is a great sport. We do a lot of wrestling here in Fort Dodge, and wrestling has a big fan base here in Fort Dodge.
Absolutely.
So that's where you got your start, I suppose, as far as the combat art, so to speak.
Yes, sir. I started wrestling for Iowa Central back in 2015. Unfortunately, due to injury, I had to drop out, and I couldn't compete competitively for that anymore. But after extensive healing processes, it was a torn Achilles tendon. After the healing process and a lot of physical therapy, I was able to come back. And after meeting Justin Faiferlick, I got my start in the MMA world and doing combat sports.
Yeah, we'd like to point out that the injury here that Will obviously has did not come from participation in martial arts.
Absolutely not, sir. No, this came from football, flag football.
Flag football.
Get a bunch of grown guys together, just having fun, and injuries are bound to happen.
One of the reasons I came out here and the ideas I talked about with the Faiferlick family were that this sort of training could benefit somebody my age. So, I'm not going to be able to do what younger people like you do or withstand that sort of thing. But I understand that jiu-jitsu training particularly is very slow motion, which I would appreciate. And you gave a good definition before we got out here as to what MMA is. Could you explain that again, please?
Absolutely. So MMA is a broad, general exaggeration or explanation of all of the martial arts blended and combined into one sport. So if I could break it down even further, if you look at boxing, wrestling, or the sport of jiu-jitsu, and if you blend those all together, you get a boxer who can take you down, or a wrestler who can put you in a submission. That is the broad standing of MMA, mixed martial arts.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big fan of Nick Diaz and Mazdaval, but I don't think I can do anything like those guys ever in my life.
You will be surprised, if you apply yourself. The human body is a very, very strong tool and a very strong weapon indeed. And if you apply yourself right and put in the work, that's a lot of times what it honestly comes down to, the amount of work you want to put into it. I promise you could, be at the high level, or, if you just want to, just look good and feel good, that is also a very foreseeable goal.
Fortunately, I still have some of the competitive drive there, so I'm very excited. And I had to admit, a little apprehensive. I don't want to, I don't want to embarrass anybody, especially me, and I don't want to waste anybody's time. So and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give it my best effort, and I'm committed to this. And I'm particularly impressed with the Faiferlick family. They're patient veteran instructors. I think we talked about it just a little while ago, and this is my first opportunity to meet Will, and Hank, who's our producer today. Hank is a wrestling fan, a former wrestler, and I'm certainly a wrestling fan. So we respect how you got here. Absolutely. And how you got to our town, how you got to Next Edge and Faiferlick Martial Arts. So.
I really appreciate it. I've been with Coach for about almost a decade now.
Really?
So yes.
Good for you.
There are different, styles of jiu-jitsu, and we do offer 2 different kinds here as well. The one I think you're going to be taking part in is the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
And that is a jiu-jitsu that is more based for self-defense, real-world scenarios. And the jiu-jitsu for the MMA class that I teach is more of a showman's jiu-jitsu. It's for people who want to compete, people who want to get out and do it more competitively, and that's with a set of rules. You have to follow a set of rules that that come with it, and it's not going to be so much more that in the street real world scenario. It's going to be more controlled, more of a, so to speak, a wrestling environment, if you could think about that. Wrestling has its time limit, its rules, you have to follow them. It's a way to conduct yourself, so that is the jiu-jitsu that MMA teaches. And the Gracie is more, if someone caught you and, was trying to rob you, you would have the set of skills to be able to defend yourself.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to working with you and seeing you again. Thanks very much.
Absolutely.
All right. I would strongly recommend that you contact Next Edge Performance and Faiferlick Martial Arts. We're right across from J-Mars out here. By all means, check it out. They're online, on the web, on the Facebook, everywhere. And I don't mind if any of you who listen to me on the radio would like to come out and say, "Oh, there he is." Let's watch what happens. You're more than welcome. Please do. I'll be out here. I think the mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu classes are mainly in the evening, aren't they?
Yes, sir.
Late afternoon, early evening.
About 5 o'clock.
Yeah, there you go. So, Next Edge Performance, Faiferlick Martial Arts. Check it out. We'll be doing this for a while. And we hope you'll be interested and motivated to come out and improve your life, because that's what we're here for. All right. Thanks a lot, Will. Thanks a lot, Hank. And we'll talk to you again soon.